Yo, 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 I'm Sam,
I'm at
and this is the Superhero Hub, and tell them what we're doing.
Gotham.
You know, the second part, episode 22, the second part of a two-part
Kind of.
season finale called Heavy Dirty Soul with no spaces in between it. It's just one long word on the random. So, yeah, Bruce is in hospital with Alfred after he stabbed him. You had Selina kind of turn up, and then there was the whole thing like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" It's like I kind of ship their relationship.
Yeah.
That's what all the people you know what that means, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you want them to be together and you stick their names together as well. Stupid.
no, I wouldn't go that far.
Good. How
Uh,
that even work?
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm into it. You know what I mean? And like, she turns up and she's like, I kind of, in one sense, I ship it, but in the other sense, I get it because when he like lows her off, she kind of like, falls right off. You know what I mean? She goes and does something stupid, if
They're
you know what
kids
I mean.
anyway. What do you want them hooking up for?
No, not like that, but you know,
No, I don't mean I don't mean you're saying that. I just mean
yeah,
like, why do you want them together? Like,
I,
they're
d-
too young.
I don't know, because it's like, I guess I like their dynamic. I like their dynamic more than I like most
Yeah,
any
but
other.
that's the Batman and Catwoman thing. They never really get together. They just do this dance forever.
Yeah, well,
Occasionally hook up.
I like that sort of stuff as opposed to I rate that more than flipping Lee and what's his name?
And next time.
They've
What's
complete
his name? If anything, if I said anything about the damn show, what's his name? Gordon, the lead character. Yeah, what's his name?
yeah, well, baggage. So yeah, you got Bruce at Alfred's bedside. Um, at one point they're wheeling him down in the hospital, and it's like, oh, what kind of relation is he to you or whatever? And for some reason I was thinking, oh, is he gonna say he's my dad? I thought, but
He's not
then
his dad.
what?
He's not his dad, is he?
Yeah, I know, but I thought Bruce was gonna say that as in like an ah moment, but then I thought that
Nah, I would have loved it if he said Butler.
you're a crease, man.
Come on.
Nah, it's like, I get why he said his family, but I guess it would have kind of like mugged off Thomas if he was like, oh yeah, he's my dad. But he kind of is, you know what I mean? But that was kind of by circumstance. Um, so yeah, you had no, then you've got like the battle for the underground, that rot, a kind of crossroads. Yeah, I'm trying to. They do a trade, don't they? Penguin's arrested, so Gordon and Harvey decide, okay, we'll get Penguin and we'll swap him with Jervis Tetch because they're at the Sirens Club, ain't they? And they're like blah 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 talking and making their plans, and then Riddler just grabs Tetch and like ditches off. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of glad. I mean, really, it was like a cull. I felt Fish Mooney died that episode,
Hmm.
and then they were just whittling everything down and kind of, I guess the technical term is cleaning house. Um,
Yeah, I guess it felt like an episode where they really some finales feel like a wrap up of stories, and some finales feel like a setup for the future. I think this was definitely one of the latter.
yeah, to cut all the kind of crap out and stuff like that, as it were. One thing that I thought, the whole Penguin and Riddler stuff in the car, like Penguin gets like whacks Riddler around the back of the head, puts him in the police car, and they're off driving. And it turns out it's all like a big elaborate setup. And yeah, you got the whole thing of the Riddler takes him back to the port again to do what he's done. I mean, the amount of times flipping Penguin's been shot off that port, I'm glad like he didn't get done again because I'm thinking that would be like the third time. So yeah, it turns out it was an all elaborate setup, and Penguin had the upper hand. He left the pin in the back of the car so Riddler could get himself out, and then he emptied the bullet of guns. So Riddler's about to pop him, and it's like, oh, no bullets in there. And then they do the whole like ego trip thing, like, oh, you'll always be let down with your compulsion to like be smart or whatever with Riddler, and it's like, oh, with Penguin, you'll always be kind of like whatever it is you are, and it turns out he's got the upper hand. And then he's like, look, I mean, I'm glad they kind of wrapped up that whole love thing, like, oh, I'm in love with you, Ed, and all that stuff. And then Mr. Freeze, like, he turns up, and so did Ivy. And he was just like to him, he was like, look, I want to keep you around, I'm not going to kill you, I'm going to keep you around as a reminder to never kind of let myself fall into that whole trap of love thing again. And then Freeze blasts him and turns him to ice. So I guess I'm glad they didn't kill him. I guess they can't kill him, because I mean, down the line, you had the whole, oh, we're going to kill Barbara. So then Butch is like getting his stuff together, and then Barbara pops up behind him and is like, yo, you're gonna kill me or something. And is like, yeah. And then she pops him straight in the head. Which again, there were little like shock bits that you kind of don't see coming, I guess. That was a surprise. So Butch is out of it. And then her and Tabitha face off in like some...
That was cool. I like the fight scene.
Did you?
Yeah, especially when you got the whip. That's very badass. I like that. Although, the one thing with this episode, even though I liked it, was watching it. I felt like I was watching the beginning. I think you brought up the Last Crusade in the other episode. I felt like it was watching the beginning of the Last Crusade, where you got River Phoenix as like the young Indy, and throughout the scene, he just happens to get everything that will be Indiana Jones in the future. So, he gets trapped with snakes. I'm scared of snakes. He gets a whip. He meets a dude who dresses like Indiana Jones is going to dress in the future. It's like everything is in a neat bow is there. That's kind of what I felt watching the episode. It's like Bruce Alfred gives him the big speech about you need to get something to inspire you. So there's a whip. Obviously, Selina's going to get the whip. As soon as Butch got popped, I know you and I differ between this. I thought, okay, boom, immediately with Solomon Grundy, isn't it? He's Solomon Grundy.
I thought, yeah, the whole, I mean, yeah, Bruce gets popped. There's like a fight between Tabitha. Tabitha gets like some like little light thing, whips it on the floor, and then Barbara gets electrocuted. I mean, David Mazouz said that apparently Harley Quinn was going to feature in it, whether that was like a double bluff or whatever, or whether they bring Barbara, because I thought it would have worked if they were going to make Barbara Harley Quinn. I thought it would have been better if Mr. Freeze blasted her, and then she kind of like didn't age, as it were, and then time passed like 5 years, and that kind of all put it together. You know what I mean?
That's what wouldn't work for me either. And yeah, things can be different from the comic books. I don't need them to all be the same, but it's the age thing with Barbara. With Barbara being Harley. I don't even mean in reference to Batman, but more specifically the Joker, who I guess is Jerome at this point. Like, how can you have a
he's about 20.
She's got to be mid-30s, early 30s.
Well, who knows whether she's like properly dead or not. I mean,
no one's dead in this show.
Smoke was coming off her, so I mean, you got to kind of figure that. And then Tabitha goes back to the club, and she's just kind of like, I don't really know what to do. Selina kind of turns up, and she's like, oh, where's Barbara? And it's like, nah, she's gone for good. And then she obviously gets a whip from Tabitha, and then I guess they go off to dinner. It's like, I kind of like their little kind of dynamic thing. I think there's a lot that Tabitha could teach her, I guess. So that kind of whatever. Then
people come back to life on the show already, but also now with the addition of the Lazarus Pit and Ra's al Ghul, we have the same thing you did on Arrow. But theoretically now anyone can be brought back to life, and you've got an easy way to do it.
Yeah,
and also if you use Lazarus Pit to bring Barbara back, will she be even crazier than she was before? Will that then make her Harley Quinn? I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, to be honest, until we get confirmation, I don't know. They kind of get the cure. I mean, Jarvis Tetch, I thought that stuff was interesting. They're kind of running away and all that stuff. And then they need the blood to make the cure. And then Gordon, I guess, slits his throat because he's all over the place to get a jar of blood. I mean, Jarvis Tetch ends up getting patched up and thrown back in Arkham. They kind of mention offhand. They get the cure. Gordon and Lee kind of get together, and he cures her, cures himself, and then she kind of ends up again pretty much like she did like 2 or 3 times in season 2. She just leaves. It's like, get rid of it. Don't want to see her again. But my thing was like, who Gordon's got kids, right? So like, where does
Yeah, but the mother really doesn't matter. I mean, Leslie Tompkins isn't their mother. Whoever the mother, because he in the comic books he cheated on her as Sarah Essen, who I missed it, but I think she died on the show, right? So it's not gonna be her either. But yeah, but really, whoever the mother of the Gordon's kids are really doesn't matter. It doesn't care. It can be anyone.
Yes, I figure that they'll. I guess whether they. I figure that they'll have to sort that out, because we give Gordon a love interest, and over the course of a season he ends up cocking it up. It's like, can we just like have like a love interest that he doesn't like mess about, so it's kind of that part of it, the aspects solid, because obviously you had Barbara go off the deep end, you got Lee leaving every 5 minutes, and then you had like Valerie Vale, who popped up for like half the season, and then he ended
Valerie Vale, was she related to Vicky Vale?
I guess so.
Okay.
So yeah, she ended up ditching as well, because it was way into Lee. So now it's kind of, that's ambiguous. So yeah, she leaves. She's got the whole letter thing, and they're reading the letter, and it turns out Butch is kind of like comatose, and they're like, "Oh, that's Butch kills in," and the doctor's like, "Really?" Because on his chart, his name's listed as Cyrus Gold. I thought that was sick. Because, to be honest, I kind of gave up on the Solomon Grundy thing, because, I mean, they said they'd introduced him near the end of the thing, so I figured, he ain't popped up, they kind of switched out. I guess the whole Harley Quinn, I mean, we don't know now, but maybe in a year or two we'll know for sure what's going on with that, but I thought that was just a fake out, like, forget about Solomon Grundy, and they kind of drop him in there.
As soon as he got shot, it kind of made sense to me. A, he gets shot in the head, and B, looks sort of like Solomon Grundy, like, physique-wise. So.
See, I liked him as a character. I wonder.
Yeah, but really, I mean, like, how many, like, 1 minute he was with Fish, and then he's with Penguin, and it's like, it's going on. The character's run its course.
Yeah. I wonder how they're gonna like do him. I guess. Yeah, he's in a coma. So what, is he gonna come out brain dead? Is something gonna happen to him where he like changes? Because obviously Cyrus Gold ends up falling into a swamp, and then obviously becoming that thing. Is he literally just going to look like Butch and maybe have like just walk around like a drongo, or is he actually going to get transformed? Because I'd
probably just look like Butch.
See, that in my opinion, that would be whack.
I think he'll look like him, and maybe they'll like Frankenstein's monster him a little.
Yeah, I think it'd be better if they changed the look of him. I think that'd be interesting if Tabitha comes back and like sees him, and she'll just be like, it'd be like kind of like Beauty and the Beast, but as opposed to like the Beast being able to talk, he'll just be like, I think that'd be like a cool thing to do if they have him like, and then her like, oh, Butch.
You think it'd be like that, or a bit more like Cersei and what's his face, the Mountain? He's like a zombie now.
Yeah, but he don't talk or nothing. He just kind of.
There you go. He didn't Solomon Grundy much, did he? He just said his name. Born on a Monday.
So I'd rather have him talk instead of him just being silent.
I don't need no zombie talking.
Well, it depends how zombie they do him. I mean, yeah, he's kind of brain dead, but maybe he'll get real limited intelligence.
If he's, you know what I mean, again, ultimately, what would happen if you throw him in the Lazarus pit?
Well, something's got to happen like that, because, I mean, you have Solomon Grundy, who's this undead character that can't die, and you just have him walking around like a normal person, and it's like, what, if he's the villain for season 4, or whatever, they're gonna blah blah blah, they can't, I hope he kind of, they experiment on him or whatever, he wakes up and is like whatever and is just ambling around, kind of like Harold Meacham, like when he kind of came back.
Oh, don't.
like have him wandering around like dirt, and
Why
then
would
he
you
ends up
bring that up?
falling in a swamp, and then like a couple episodes later he comes back like transformed. You
Damn
know what I
show.
mean? They'll always wangle somehow. There's some random chemicals about. So yeah, I'd rather he kind of like wanders around then ends up falling in a swamp. Because if he walks around normally, I'm just gonna be like, yeah,
I think maybe I'd imagine maybe Strange will work on him. Like I say, it'll be like a Frankenstein's monster kind of thing. This is probably the most I've seen of Strange. Has BD Wong plays him, right?
yeah.
Has he always been doing this like George Takei voice?
That's exactly what I thought. Like I was thinking like
This
that
is the first time I've noticed it.
one of the first things he says in like the first episode of this, like I was thinking, oh, he sounds proper like, why is he doing like a George Takei thing? But then he kind of loud it off a bit. There's some bits when he says stuff that he sounds like
Big
exactly
time.
like him, like oh my. Like that, I was thinking, yo, as if he's doing George Takei. But I mean, I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, sometimes he does it. It's just like certain things he just proper enunciates it. But
Doesn't
yeah,
bother me.
um, well, it was kind of all the way through season 2. He featured in that, so whether he comes back next season, I don't know. But it's interesting. I mean, because there's speculation that Solomon Grundy's going to be the villain for season 4, but you got to throw like other stuff in as well.
Yeah, you can't have him as a mate. I imagine I'll do it like I did this season. They'll just do it in like segments. Like someone will take over for a while, like the Joker took over for a few episodes, and then it's the Penguin or the Riddler, whoever it'll be.
I mean, I guess they'll kind of with Harvey and Jim, like at the kind of thing they were like, oh, let's just go and patrol the streets, like beat cops and stuff like that. Um,
Uh,
I
I,
wonder,
it
I
seems
wonder,
like I wonder if that when that came up, I wonder if it was kind of an acknowledgement from the writers as well that they've kind of strayed away with Gordon this season. They need to get back down to him just being a cop and doing his job and nothing this like super serum lovey-dovey crap.
yeah, just have that, and then like having gone back being a detective, and then every so often stuff pops up. You know what I mean? Because he can interact with all the other characters. I thought the Iceberg Lounge, they finally got round to that, and obviously Nygma's like the centerpiece of it. I thought I didn't really care for the whole Riddler in Ice thing, but I was like, great, they're finally kind of the Iceberg Lounge. I thought that was sick. I like those little bits of lore, and then at the end you had. Like akin to Bruce and the people walking down the dark alley, and then you had this guy pop up with a gun, and then Bruce like drops behind him and slaps him up.
Yeah,
Uh,
at
I mean,
least this time like he actually saves them, unlike in like Batman '89. Like if you've ever seen Batman '89, it's hilarious. Like they do the same thing. Like it's kind of like the fake out. Like it makes it seem like it's the origin, but it's not. It's like another family, but throughout the thing, it's just Batman watches the family get robbed and assaulted, and then he jumps in for some reason. This was better, but it also does mean though, like, will I guess even though we haven't seen much of it this season, Gordon and Bruce's relationship's gonna have to change a little now, and that Bruce can't be like 100% honest with him anymore, because obviously if he was, he's gonna figure out a few years later that dude's running around as Batman anyway. So there's going to have to be a period of some distance between them now.
yeah, because generally their interactions, you had the thing with the parents, now that's been kind of wrapped up, and like generally if there's any like big thing going on, it just so happened that like Bruce Wayne would be like the main target, and then that'd kind of bring them together. But I guess, yeah, I mean in terms of distance, if like generally if Gordon has a problem, he'll go and see the Penguin. So I mean, I guess that'll be how that goes back to, and then it would just be Bruce and Alfred training and stuff like that, and just going round and whatever. So yeah, you had Bruce on top of the building taking off his like 10 masks, and then yeah. I wonder what happened to the clone. I guess they'll just like forget about the clone now. You just like assume it's dead because it's kind of out of
Like
the
you don't
way.
see him die on screen, and he doesn't die. They'll bring him back eventually, but
Mm.
I would forget about him for a while.
Yeah, they kind of said that he was on the way out. So yeah, let's talk numbers.
I'll give it an 8. I thought this was better than the other part. I had fun. I think, like I said, he did a good job in setting up where we're going now. Um, Gave a clear trajectory to a lot of characters. It's a problem I had earlier within the first season of Gotham, even though yeah they have to set their own forge their own path, and we know eventually it's going to lose going to be a Batman. Oftentimes, though, the characters I'm watching thinking like, where are you going? What exactly are we doing here? At least they've addressed that. We know Selina's now on the path to being a thief and blah blah blah, and Bruce is on the way to being Batman, and Gordon's going to get back to being a cop. So I think they've set up the next season fairly well.
Yeah, instead of like Penguin kind of like, because he's always been disjointed, I guess it'll be like at the Iceberg Lounge, and then people as and when will just come in and like be like, oh, I need this, I need that. So really, he's the outright king of the underworld now. He's got whatever Freeze will be doing, whatever Firefly will be doing, whether they'll be hanging around or whatever, and then obviously he's got Ivy with him. Whatever she does, whether she ends up going her own way, which I guess she'll have to, because I mean, is she really just gonna kind of hang around or whatever? So yeah, I would have given it a 9, because there was some real bits that kind of got me like right there. Because as I said, I completely forgot about the Solomon Grundy stuff until it was like dropped. Then I thought, you know what I mean? I thought that was sick. So yeah, I'm Sam,
I'm not.
and we'll see you next season. Keep it right here at the Superhero Hub.